Mine's on now.
Mine's on now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't have tape.
Checkity check check. Checkertons.
What's that? Oh, yeah. All right, so go ahead and flip that fan off.
I'm not actually getting much of my
Okay.
Okay, it's down here. That makes sense.
Turn it off. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay. All right, so we're going to go in. You ready? So we'll do 5, 4, 3.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Lancaster,
And I'm Ian Oliver.
and this is Hawking News. Today we will be discussing the Innovative Gifted Program in association with Tri-County Interlocal and Greenbush. This year, Greenbush has helped to ramp up the Gifted program. Can we stop this and make that go faster?
Okay, yeah, let's do it. A little faster. Okay.
tape from the top.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take it from the top and try it again.
Sorry.
So you ready? And we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Lancaster,
And I'm Ian Oliver.
and this is Hawking News. Today we will be discussing the Innovative Gifted Program in association with Tri-County Interlocal and Greenbush. This year, Greenbush has helped to ramp up the Gifted program with their new Gifted Innovative, which promotes more student collaboration across. That's still really slow.
Still really slow.
My voice cracked on us. I'm like, oh.
Is that where you want it? You're going to have to try reading
Slower?
at a steady pace. Just try reading at a steady pace.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go from the top again. That's why we practice. All right. Ready? So we'll go on 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Lancaster,
And I'm Ian Oliver.
and we're Hawking News. Today we will be discussing the Innovative Program in association with Tri-County Interlocal and Greenbush. This year, Greenbush has helped to ramp up the Gifted program with their new Gifted Initiative, which promotes more student collaboration across different districts and accelerated learning in specific areas.
Greenbush invites students to come to the facilities and community resources so they can get immersive educational experiences with advanced technology that their own schools lack funding for. At the facility, students break up into cohort groups to study one individual area while getting to collaborate with other students from different districts as well. Among the different cohort groups is the multimedia group, which is bringing you this broadcast live. Now on to Paige Kyle for more information.
Thanks, Ian. The Hawking News team interviewed students involved with the Innovative Greenbush Gifted program to give you an inside look at the different cohort groups and projects. Here's some interviews now.
I was part of the computer programming and coding group.
In coding.
The Earth and Space Science Group.
I'm a part of the Earth and Space Science group. The multimedia group is the multimedia group. The multimedia group.
The Multimedia Group.
We learned how to use a computer program called Scratch to make this item, and you could do things like make the size bigger or smaller and all that.
We've done finches, which is it looks like a mouse kind of thing. And that one's kind of easier to code.
But today, we really just worked on designing, for me, I designed my rocket.
I'm doing a project over 6 fictional individuals that have different illnesses, I guess, mental illnesses that are a big problem in the United States. And I was wondering what would happen hypothetically if you were to put these major illnesses in together, what would happen just to see the outcome.
In our multimedia group, we did multiple different projects. One of the projects was to interview the St. Aloysius Historical Society and find more about that so we could do a short segment on the history of it and how it burned multiple times and how it eventually became a historical site.
I liked the interviewing part a lot, hearing the women and the man speak on really how the burning of the church affected them. I don't know, I really liked that part a lot.
I have always wanted to be a commentator, a sports commentator, yeah. And I felt that this group would really further my education about that.
Probably just like learning like how to kind of run camera equipment, lighting equipment, and like different stuff that I hadn't done before.
Last year it was kind of group projects, not really what you kind of wanted to do. This year is a lot more, you do what you kind of want group project, a lot more resources.
I expected more of like isolated work, or we'd be given all these resources and we'd be forced to like present it in front of everybody, and that we wouldn't actually be able to interact with other people. That was kind of my impression at the beginning of all this.
I thought we would be sitting at a computer typing. All day long.
I thought someone would tell us what to do and we'd have to figure out how to do it. Not much of you kind of get to design your own thing.
I kind of expected it just to come here, listen to somebody for 2 hours, and go home. Not really get to do stuff like I wanted to do kind of.
I thought the Greenbush program was going to be tons of kids all in one room, learning from one teacher and sort of being stuck working on little projects and not getting a lot of collaboration.
I didn't really have any certain expectations, like there was no vision in my mind of how this was all going to play out. I just kind of knew that it was in some way going to be better than last year.
I imagined it as just a group of kids working together on a project, but as I came, it's much more personalized to each kid, so that each person really gets something out of it for themselves.
It's a lot better because there's a lot more resources so you can do more things.
Yeah, it's more hands-on, you're correct. We get to do things, we get to interact with them more. One time we built this mouse trap, and we got to design it with Legos and cardboard and tape, and it had this box, and then we were able to use, and then there was this robotic arm that held a cardboard piece, and the sensor on the side, when an object comes close to the box, then the arm will snap shut and capture that object.
It's better because you can do projects. Last year it was more of a piece of paper and a pencil and you'd have to fill out something. I think the work here is more challenging.
When I got here, I realized that it's much smaller groups, which is better because then you can get more individual help with the instructor, and also it's more individualized, so you can work on what you want to work on and see how Greenbush can help you advance in what you want to learn.
Originally, I wanted to get into journalism, and so the first day we worked on a little broadcasting, someone interviewed me, and then I just kind of knew that this was where I wanted to be.
We got to do more hands-on stuff, and I kind of like that. We got to actually work on stuff together instead of just listening on how it's done.
Yes, absolutely. At first it may seem out of the water crazy, but you'll get used to it. It's really, really easy and way more simpler than you thought it would.
Of course, yes. Probably how you can use your own ideas and use the tools that they give you to create something huge.
Yes. It's easier than you actually think it might be. because even though a code might be really long, if you analyze each block or each sentence you write to code it, it's not that difficult as you might think it'd be.
Back to you, Sydney, for some details about the Multimedia Cohort Group Project.
The Multimedia Group took notice of the local historical site St. Aloysius, which is located right next to Greenbush. They thought that this site was an interesting piece of history that needed to be shared. So they interviewed the St. Aloysius Historical Society to give you an inside look.
Oh yeah, it burned up. It was really a big and beautiful church.
In 1867, a priest by the name of Father Philip Collett got caught in a storm. Hail. So he gets off his horse, puts the saddle over his head, and promises God, if he lives through it, that he'll build a church.
Big, heavy doors. You can't imagine how heavy those doors were, and the big, beautiful windows. It was just gorgeous. Oh, the windows were gorgeous. And there was always events going on over there. You know, I can just remember May crownings where the nuns would have us lined up around the side aisles and people marching down the middle aisle. But what you have to understand, and I've always thought that was hard to understand, is that what's on the Historical Society is this church. It's not that church over there. It's just this here.
This church, because it was built in 1881. Yeah. At the Second Vatican Council, the priests got together and they decided they would strip the big altars out.
I think they really made a mistake when they started taking the old altars
I do
down.
too.
I think they're not the new ones. Maybe in the newer churches are really beautiful, yes, but I think in the old churches, like St. Paul, for example, those are the ones that are really beautiful when you see that.
Lightning struck the steeple. We didn't know the church was on fire until George called us, and then we got, we called around and got parishioners and
Jim, my brother, her husband, so he ran in the church and they dragged out some of the stuff they could, but it was so hot.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot they could get out. It burnt so fast. There was lots of police cars out here. There's pictures of people standing out watching, and I think everybody was just heartbroken at seeing this happen. It's just, it's so hard to believe something that you care about so much could be gone so fast.
Father here, Father Ornbrink, was going to build a grotto for the Blessed Virgin, and he was going to dedicate it to the men that were in war. We had just finished our grotto, and we had found that. So we dedicated it to the men for his promise. The diocese was going to sell it. They didn't want it anymore. They were going to sell it. Well, she just couldn't stand it. So Judy got to work, and she got it declared on the Kansas Historical. This place was started in a storm. The first church was destroyed by a storm. Then they built this one, and then this one was built, and it was destroyed by a storm. So we're kind of stormy, I guess.
Before we wrap up, we'd like to send a big thank you to those of you watching who have been supportive and assisted us through this process.
And a big thank you to the staff and crew who have helped prepare us for this broadcast.
From all of us here at Hawking News Network, Good night, America.
I might change that last bit to slower.
Okay, so that's just when we do it real, like, just so it's even, you get the last.
Okay.